Count money, man. Stack riches. Try and told him I'm a beast, bud.
What's up, gang? Welcome back to another episode of the GRINDcast. Get ready. It's a new day, and had a unique podcast for you. Had a chance to spend time with a power couple for us down in Florida. They've been doing a good job, Elis and Andrea, and just wanted to get some of their feedback on the business and how they do it, together as a couple. And I thought it would add value, maybe to some of you out there. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. Let me know what you think. Take a listen. All right, so we have Elis and Andrea, two of our absolute superstars that were a force all by themselves, but super powerful together. This is the real definition of a power couple, right here. So why don't I start out with the ladies? Yeah. Ladies first, right? And so Andrea, has had a ton of success, with us. Why don't you speak to a little bit of maybe what it takes, what type of female, because if I could have 100 of you or 1,000 of you, we'd be in better shape, right? Absolutely. So what do you think traits of strong women do well, in this business?
Yeah, women in general are strong species, I would say, but you have to definitely be independent. You have to be self-sufficient, even though we like to rely and have someone there for us, it takes a woman who can do on her own. Grit, I would say, is something that we have to look for when it comes to a woman that not just tells us she's gonna do something, but can go through the trials of what we have, because it's a brand new language for some people. It's a brand new type of career for some people. Some people have never been in sales, but it takes a lot of communication as well. Communication that when you're talking to families especially, you're never gonna get the same family for any appointment, right? So being able to mold yourself with just understanding. And I think that's a huge trait that can help women and men, is like understanding, taking the time, but making sure that we also control our energy when it comes to being successful in who we sign up and successful in time management. Because I think when I first started, for sure, I took a lot of time with some families. Yeah. And I had to learn okay, it's just me. I am being coached, right? But I have to learn how to level out my personal life and my work life and what does matter, and okay, when does it matter, and time management, right? So yeah. We definitely got to look for women that are self-sufficient, that are independent, that are also coachable.
You spoke about controlling the mindset and the emotions a little bit.
Yeah.
I think a lot of what attracts strong men and women is that you get to control your own income and control your own avenue versus somebody else is responsible, for your success. Is that something that you think attracted you to the industry and to the business at all?
2,000%, yes.
Being in control of your own destiny and
of course.
Make as much as you want to make.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I knew that it was going to be, the only cap that I was going to have is the cap on my own mind, right? Yeah. Because if I saw that if you put in the work and you, adjusted and maneuvered how you needed to get better at the skill, there's no way that you could lose.
100%.
Right? So
I remember meeting Elis on my family vacation. And I was on my family vacation, and thank God for having a supportive spouse. She knows this is not a balance, it's a blending of this is just what we do. And truly, some people would say this, I think, just because it sounds cool. Yeah. And I hope people feel this, and I hope you feel this. To me, really, it's not even much about the money anymore. Yeah, I like to make more money and break new records and all that stuff. It's more about how can we impact other people. And so I think my wife and everybody knows that that's the mission.
Yeah.
And so there's never this hard line all the time. If the spirit is flowing and it's hey, this is what I'm supposed to do, usually the support is there. And so I remember getting a call from Spence, and he's like, hey man, I got a superstar that I think you need to meet. And I remember you coming to the Pink Hotel, to the Don Caesar Hotel.
Yes, sir.
And I met you, and thank God, you know, that we took some time
Definitely,
out
thank God.
for
Yeah.
one another, because I could tell you, hopefully, you know, you feel the same, but I know our business has been better because of you, and you've inspired so many people. The first person to break over $100,000 in business, you
Yes,
were
sir.
a Roger Bannister.
Yes, sir.
You know, Roger Bannister is the guy that broke the 4-minute mile for the first time.
Yep.
And after that, other people started to do it. Before that, they thought you would die if you ran a 4-minute mile. Once he proved that it can happen, other people followed. But there's only one first, you know, and that's
Yes,
you.
sir. Yep.
And then, you know, aside from that, you also were like, the story is like being that walk-on in a sense,
Yeah.
because you didn't VIP.
Right.
In your first 3 months, you know, you didn't VIP. In our business, you know, there's a certain number that new people, rookies, can hit. And if you hit that number, we call it a VIP. And it's inspiring for people. You know, I think that, I use this, I'm going to use it for years and years to come, to encourage other people that, hey, just because you don't VIP don't mean you can't end up like, you know, like Ellis. And so what do you think turned it, you know, for you from going from, you know, a not VIP to a first round draft pick?
You know, that's such a great question. That's what people ask me all the time. And at the end of the day, I used that as fuel for that. You know, I literally have texts on my phone with Spencer from when I started of like, you know, I know God is using this story for a reason, my slow start for a reason. It gives me chills now to think about, because it all came full circle, and I'm able to help people and use that to this day. Just yesterday, I was talking with someone about it, of like how I never VIP'd, but that's exactly why I got it. Like, I would have never gotten to 100K in a month if I didn't not VIP.
Go through the struggle.
If I didn't go through the struggle in the first place. And I don't think a lot of people realize that, because for me to do that, it had to be bigger than money. It had to be more than just the production and this and that. I had to prove something to myself, because I had it so in my head of like, I can't do this job. But I was frustrated because I saw people being able to do it.
Yep.
And I said, you know what, if people can do it, and I had a conversation with Brian Colarusso when I was first starting of like, hey, I hadn't even made a sale yet, but I told him, I'm not gonna quit until I'm the best at this. Because I see yo ass doing it.
Right, facts.
So at the end of the day, you know, I use that as fuel. And they always say, you know, you never VIP'd this, that, but that's exactly why I did it. If I didn't VIP, I would have never had that grit, that hunger, that drive to want to write 100K. It meant the world to me.
So I think the reason, you know, what I would go to is like, most people quit
Yeah.
if they're in that circumstance. So, you know, why wouldn't you quit? It sounds like to me, you know, the belief came from, if this person can do it, I know I'm going to end up doing it, because your self could do it, right?
Yeah.
So was that a lot of it for you that kept you going, of like, I know I can do this because I see him doing it. I know I'm going to be able to do it.
Most definitely. I think that, and then just also understanding that anything good is going to come with pushback and struggle. Anything I've ever done worth accomplishing was massive pushback, massive struggle.
So what do you think took you from there to here? Because there's a lot of people that did VIP
Yeah.
that never reached the levels that you've reached, right?
Yeah.
And there's few people that don't VIP and reach the levels that you've reached. But what do you think separated you from, okay, there's all these people that in their first 3 months, they had more success than you, but over their first 3 years, very minimal ever have as much success as you have. So what was that transition? What do you think changed that gap?
It's that simple. It's because I didn't. And I had to prove to myself, it was just about proving it to myself that I could do it. It wasn't about the money anymore. It wasn't about, oh, I want to do this much production because I can or because I'm talented. Clearly, I wasn't talented when I first started, you know? But at the end of the day, it was something internal inside of me. I have to prove myself to this.
Now, I might ask you the same question, but, you know, Andrea is a top producer. I know what you can do. You know, 50,000's in your sleep. You know, you could do that if you want to at any time. What made you choose to not just do your own thing and to want to build a team of people?
Well, like what you said too, you know, you want to change lives, and we do want to share this opportunity because there's so many people that are doing the same thing over and over for a paycheck and never get to level up their life, right? They law of exposure, especially.
Yeah.
We have a new guy on our team that we recruited from Shoe Palace. We took him to his first steakhouse at 19 years old.
Yeah.
Took him to Fogo, actually.
Don't that feel good?
Feels
I love
so
sharing
good,
first
Coach.
with people
It
like
feels
that.
so
Yeah.
good. And like, he just made a sale yesterday. He was at the rooftop. He was dancing. And he was dancing on camera, the first sale he made before that. And like, that makes my heart feel so good. Like,
Yeah.
so good. I talk to him about it all the time. You know, he's so humble. He's so grateful. And when you can change someone's life like that, it's an amazing feeling, right? And so
Yeah.
for me, I knew, okay, the grind is there. I can go, I can check in, I can work all my hours, and that's cool, that's good money. But then what if I can also reproduce myself and duplicate, share this opportunity, and help people make money they don't even think of ever making?
I know.
It feels so good. That feels so much better.
But what about you? You know, I remember we walked miles and
Yeah.
miles,
Oh, man.
right?
I know what you're
Don't
gonna
that
say.
seem like yesterday?
I
So he
know
hit the
that story. I heard
100,000.
about
I have
it.
him come to my new house, like one of the only people I let in my brand new house, and he's in the house.
remember he
and,
told me he was
and I'm
going on
like,
a walk.
we had a
I'm like,
park,
what?
and me and him went walking. And in my head, I'm thinking my goal of the walk is to make sure he knows he's appreciated, that I appreciate him, and the second goal was for him to commit to going crushing some leadership because I knew he could kill it in leadership. He fought me the whole time. He was like, no, I'm gonna do leadership, but I wanna be, the
Yeah.
number one producer and I can't let it go.
Yeah.
And I've seen you transition to like, I don't know, there's not been that many people, maybe on the hand of a couple, and we'll see how the year ends.
Yeah.
But as a first year MGA, I haven't seen that many people in my career start out this fast, in leadership. So what changed there from our walk of like, I'm holding on to being the top producer, the team thing, we could do some of that, to like, all right, my team is thriving and it seems like you're finding a lot of joy in that.
Man, it was one of the many amazing pieces of wisdom you've given me. And it was on that walk. Maybe I didn't register it at the time, but when I was reflecting on it, obviously what you said of if you want to go far, go together. If you want to go fast, go alone. Right?
You told him that? Thank you.
Yeah, that was.
You told him the same thing?
that was literally it,
Yeah.
though. It really just came down to knowing how far we can go if I just, stop really being selfish and only worrying about me and, just trying to be number one. A lot of it is ego, really, too, of like, knowing that I want to duplicate myself in other people. If I've been blessed with the skill set and the knowledge to be able to do this, let me bless this on to others, and how much more blessed I'll be to be able to serve other people and, constantly pour into them. And just a lot about the purpose too. Like, I was talking with someone before of like becoming the source of what you seek. So if I need motivation, want to know the best thing I could do if I need motivation? I'm gonna call someone and motivate them. So whatever you need, you give it away.
Yep.
Fire.
And I just dedicated my life to I'm just gonna give everything away.
Fire.
Give away the knowledge, give away everything, and how much more purpose I feel in this opportunity
Same
now.
thing goes for love and money and all that other stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man.
No, most definitely. So I think just basically exactly what you told me. I wanted to go far with this thing. I wanted to really build something, and I couldn't keep seeing it with myself. Like something was fighting me about it, knowing that I was destined to do bigger things with a bunch of people rather than just be selfish. And
So we
focus on
got
me.
2 minutes left. Do you guys want to, off the top, shoot a couple things at me?
Coach, when you're coming across someone, maybe, a young man, woman, whatever the case is, and you want to mentor them, what are some things that you look for in that person?
Competitiveness, coachability, ambition. I think if I got somebody that's ambitious, that wants to do big things, and I could tell that they would listen, that they're hungry for being coached, and that got a little bit of a competitive spirit, I think that's where I know, like, all right, that person is capable of doing all that I would like to pour into them in order to do, and some people will have one of those things or two of those things, but if you could find somebody with all three of those things, that seems like a good start.
It's crazy you asked that, because do you remember the first time I messaged you?
No.
No? Okay. It was on Instagram, and I sent you this long
vaguely,
message.
I do.
Okay.
Yep.
This is a long message, and I just remember pouring my heart out into that message.
Yeah.
And it fills all those boxes. Like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I was ambitious, and I knew I was going to be competitive, and I had told you that, I just need the opportunity, because where I'm at, it's not it.
Yep.
And it's just crazy you say that, because that is who you are, 3, 4, going on 5 years.
Let me ask you, as a boss lady in the deal, what do you think that you like, or that you've seen that you like about our culture? Yeah. Even if there's things that, there's always things that we could grow in, but what do you think sticks out to you about our culture?
Definitely the loyalty in it. I'm gonna just say that word for sure, because between you, Matty D, J.A., Brody being the solid foundation, and you guys having the relationship and the loyalty amongst each other, you spread that towards your leaders, right? And
100%.
you teach that, but then we watch you, really. I love when you guys come down here, and you guys are all so different. Actually, that was my first time getting to really hang with Brody and Katie, but just seeing the way you guys are together, right? And that creates a good momentum for the rest of us trying to be like you. And I love it, because I feel like everybody's getting more mature. Everybody's getting older, and we've got engagements going on. And I know everybody looks up to you ultimately, because everybody can make all this money, but just the loyalty and that part of the culture, where even though we're all on different teams, the competitiveness, there's no bad competition.
It's my favorite part of the deal, outside of the business, is that I get to watch people come in, change their life, and then grow up, get engaged, get married, have kids, buy a nice house. It's like I get to be a part of that. It's like being a part of Christmas again, as a kid. You know what I mean? It's like, man, Santa Claus, and I get to see it through my kids' eyes and watch them open up gifts, and I know what's getting ready to happen. It's like, it just don't happen as fast, but it's like, I'm watching you, and I'm like, dude, in 3 more years, I can't wait to watch this. You know what I mean? And it's super cool to be a part of.
Would you say that this is your tightest group in your career, all
100%,
of us here?
100%.
Yeah, I love
the tightest group, the most loyal group, the tightest culture, best culture we've ever had before. Praise the Lord.
Love it. And this is time.
Glory to God.
Imagine if you quit
I
10
know.
years ago,
Come on.
12 years ago,
Come on.
15.
Crazy.
We wouldn't
Amen.
be here.
Amen.
No one would be.
Yeah.
Amen.
What are some of the biggest things that you think drive the culture of any organization?
I think the leaders, sets the pace.
Yeah.
But I think the captains in that locker room really set the pace. There's only so much that a coach could do if the captains in the locker room don't take that culture and run with it. So I think it starts with the leader's vision, but it really only gets executed and taken to a championship level if the captains in that locker room take it. And I think you have a really, I've heard somebody say, man, if the best players in the organization or the best player on your sports team, if they're also a really good person, you got a really good chance of being special. And I think where I've gotten lucky, right now, is that the best players in our organization are such good people.
I love that.
Yeah.
That they start to drive that message, that culture. I've tried to spread the mind, body, spirit, thing for years and years and years. And to watch the leaders in the organization take it serious and then watch it pass on.
Yeah.
This is what was the dream and the vision, the whole time.
It's crazy you say that. He just got done watching Gridiron Gang for the first time. Remember with The Rock? Mm-hmm. Taking all those, you remember that one? All those kids and the gang members, right?
Yep.
And even when The Rock failed them and was just, dogging them and they weren't going to do it, but then they had Junior, that Samoan kid that was out there, and when
He
you
was
got
a
good
captain.
captains,
Yep, no doubt.
And then based off the culture too, I know you said building your culture based off of loyalty and competitiveness. That's something I've implemented. Why do you say that though?
I think if someone's competitive, then it keeps them, driven outside of money, and you're going to have purpose. But you could be competitive of how many people's lives do I want to change.
Facts.
You could be competitive on, how much money do I want to donate. You could be competitive as I want my youth program that makes me no money to be the best youth program. It's like if you got that competitive spirit, then you can it helps you to not make it all about the money. And it seems to me like it keeps a person motivated, because you got to be self-motivated in the business.
Yeah.
And I think the easiest way to be self-motivated is to be competitive, even if it's with yourself. Like I heard in the first couple sentences, you saying, well, I said if his ass could do it, I know that's competitiveness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She went back to her first message to me, there was competitiveness, in there. And so I think just watching the people that had the success had competitiveness as a main trait. And then the loyalty, loyalty comes before royalties. And that you really can't build with. You can't build anything on a foundation that isn't solid. And I think at the foundation of any relationship is loyalty. If we don't have loyalty, we don't got nothing. You know what I mean? And so that goes for your marriage, and it goes for your business. And so many things carry over from marriage to business. So much of business is similar to marriage, and so many things in marriage are similar, to business, with the main foundation being, loyalty. And it goes both ways. I don't expect everybody to be loyal to me and me to not be loyal to anybody. You know what I mean? And vice versa. So I think if you got the foundation of loyalty to where we can trust one another, that you don't have to look over your shoulder and I don't have to look over my shoulder of like, oh man, can I trust this person? Am I wasting my time with this person because they're going to be looking to the left and looking to the right, or, whatever it is. Can I be myself, a little bit? Then you can kind of move at a faster pace if you trust, in one another. So
Yep.
Fire.
huge.
100%.
Love it.
Good. That's what we got for today.
Man,
right
we were
now.
just
Boom,
cooking.
we're up next. That was fire. Yeah.